Let's end the year on a high note by ranking every song from Hazbin Hotel Season 2 from worst to best. As we all know, Season 2 of Hazbin Hotel just finished, and with that, it delivered us another outstanding soundtrack. Though I will say, I feel like there were a little too many songs this season. Having 3 songs an episode instead of 2 made some songs feel either halfway baked or overstuffed with too much going on. Still, I can't complain. This is some phenomenal music being made, and I hope it gets the accolades it deserves come award season. But before I get to the list, here's a few things I want to clarify. Unlike my ranking for Season 1 songs, this season's music was much harder for me to rank. It's almost been a month since the season ended, and I flip-flopped so many times on what was my favorite song. It changed at least 5 times. I've radically changed this list at so many points, so while I will be putting these songs in a spot from 20 to 1, just know a lot of the song rankings aren't solidified in concrete. They're more loosely placed in a spot. But if you don't like my ranking or think my songs are in the wrong spot, I'd just like to say, you're wrong. With all that out of the way, let's begin ranking, starting, unfortunately, with the worst song. I made a comment in my Hazbin vs. Disney video about how I didn't like Charlie's character this season due to her poor decision making and general obnoxiousness, so it should be no surprise that the song that exemplifies these traits in her character would be in last place, Speedrun to Redemption. The reason I don't like this besides Charlie's writing is that it's just not pleasant to listen to. It's chaotic, loud, and to be honest, isn't that memorable of a melody. I get it's the point of the song to be all those things. Charlie is losing control of the situation and trying to get Angel Dust redeemed for the V's. It works in a storytelling sense, but it's still, annoying. On a technical front, I do think the performance by voice actress Erica Henningsen is remarkable as always. What she's doing in trying to juggle all these emotions is impressive to say the least. But yeah, I think that's all I got. I get what it's going for, and it succeeds in that department. Doesn't mean I have to like it though. Like You is essentially Welcome to Heaven Part 2, and anyone who saw my Season 1 song ranking knows how much I love that song. Which is not at all. I get that this interpretation of Heaven is supposed to be super bubbly and happy, so naturally the songs here would reflect this tone, but it's just... ugh. Barney has more edge to his songs than this shit. Also, some of the lyrics are just not it. Like, you're gonna make so many new friends here, potential amigos around every corner? What? Though, like Speedrun to Redemption, that is kind of the point of this song. It's supposed to be annoyingly cheerful, especially from the viewpoint of Sir Pinchas, who would rather be doing anything than sit through this song. Seriously though, that section where he tries to get back to hell, only to realize the reality of his situation is hilarious. Him slowly losing his mind during the gleeful chorus, which results in him trying to commit suicide, is comedic perfection. It's definitely the best part of the song when you're watching it. However, when you just listen to it without any of the visuals, it's, like I said, annoying. I don't think it's an outright bad song like Welcome to Heaven. It has several elements that are going for it. It's just a song I won't be returning to anytime soon. When I Think About the Future is a song I genuinely forgot existed until I started working on this list. It's not even really a song, it's some kind of medley of all the songs up until this point in this season, but it didn't work for me because there's no real interesting way they made them flow into one another. It's just like 30 seconds of a great song this season that just goes on to the next one. It leaves me wondering, why not just listen to those songs in their entirety? There's nothing offensive or annoying in the song. It's a cool way to showcase these intersecting plot points before the climax of the season, but as a song, it's just not memorable. Live to Live is a song that I think is much stronger in its storytelling than an actual song. I love the progression it shows with Sir Pinchas, and I gotta say, talk about a 180 for a character. Way back when the pilot came out, I just found him to be obnoxious, but over the course of the series, he's somehow risen out of one of the worst characters into potentially top 5 best in the show. I think Live to Live exemplifies how Charlie's influence affected him in a positive way, and now he's having that same impact on those who can create great change. This is further exemplified with the callback both melodically and visually to It Starts With Sorry. That being said, while I like the callback to that song in Season 1, when it ends up being the most memorable part of this new song, that can be a problem. Live to Live engages in what I call talking music, where the characters aren't really singing a song, they're just saying words in a melodic way. Due to it being so wordy, it causes the song to have no recognizable or predictable pattern, which thus makes it forgettable. Which is unfortunate, but oh well. In a season with 20 songs, not every one of them is going to be as memorable, I suppose. At the beginning of the video, I mentioned how there's a good portions of songs I love the idea of, but they were bogged down with too much happening or too little. Hear My Hope is unfortunately one of those songs. When it sticks to the main chorus, it's a powerful melody with some gorgeous vocal arrangements. The animation as well during the ending sequence is extremely impressive. However, my problems lie with the odd directions and plot points it decides to go into. I think you know where I'm going with this. Everything with Lute and Abel felt like it came out of nowhere, and it rushes not only their character arcs this season, but sours the progression of this unifying song. I won't rant about Lute's character this season right now, but trust me, I will be covering it later on in this video. However, I will talk about Abel's part. I know a lot of people like Abel's vocal solo, telling Lute to back off, but like I said, his arc was so underdeveloped and rushed that despite the amazing performance, I feel nothing. Not even Patrick Stump from Fall Out Boy can save the song. However, it's Fall Out Boy. When have they ever made a good song?
Your boos mean nothing. I've seen what makes you cheer.
On top of that, while I also love Rosie and Alistair's back and forth, it feels just so out of place for this song. Hear My Hope could have worked better if these sections that deviated from the main chorus had some connection to the melody in any way. But they didn't. It feels like they shoved 3 different songs into this, so by the end, I'm not in this state of like, wow, that was a powerful moment. I'm more in a state of, what the was that? Like I said, if it didn't shove those other parts and just focused on the characters uniting to stop the super weapon with their vocals, this would have ranked much higher. Sad day that it didn't. Easy is a song that's infectiously catchy, but my problems lie with how much of a tonal whiplash it was for the scene it appears in. Charlie is lying there crying in her room about her actions this season, her trusting of the V's, her behavior towards her dad and Vaggie. It's her lowest moment as a character, and when Vaggie sees how remorseful she is, I expected a song. I just thought it would be a slower, more intimate ballad like More Than Anything Reprise from last season. Instead, we got a scene where Charlie is pouring her emotions out in a very vulnerable way, to Vaggie instantly showing us how her hips don't lie.
Shakira.
First time I watched it, I actually burst out laughing because of how violently it switched tones. I like the overall message about how they trust each other, even through thick and thin. On top of that, the song is very catchy. I love the warm colors, the harmonies are amazing, and I like the Latin pop influence. It's just the sequences building up to it felt so out of nowhere, I wasn't able to fully connect with it. Piss is a complicated song for me. Yes, that is a sentence I just said. On the one hand, I love the melody, the vocals are great, and the wordplay is funny yet wholesome. But on the other hand, I just don't give a about this relationship. Most of it has to do with Cherry Bomb. I love Serpentious, as you already know, but Cherry, I don't know why she exists. I don't like her character at all. I don't like her design, I don't like her personality, and I don't like her stupid Australian accent.
G'day, mate. Let's put another shrimp on the barbie.
This doesn't mean she can't grow over time, but we're 2 seasons in and I seriously don't get the point of her character. So when there's a rock love ballad with her being one of the centers, I don't connect with the song. The song itself, however, like I said, is quite good. Melodically, it's one of the most memorable, and the vocals, especially towards the end of the song, are absolutely beautiful. I really like that one part at the very end. It's such a little thing, but it's so satisfying on the ears. Crazy vocal work from Alex Brightman and Christina Alabado. Overall, Piss is a really solid song. It's just one where I wish I cared for both parties equally. Bad With Us was a song that took me a while to get into. There's ideas in this song that I absolutely adore, but it kind of suffers from the same issues I had with Hear My Hope. That being too many ideas are put together, ultimately making it feel like an uneven experience. The opening segment reminded me a lot of Pokemon's theme, which was pretty cool.
Holy shit, is this true? Alistair's been defeated. I wanna be the very best.
Seriously, I can't be the only one who hears that right. However, it goes from this to a nice harmonious piece by the V's led by Vox, which was a nice switch up, but then Vox goes and switches the genres 5 more times before ending with the chorus. I do like the idea of him changing musical styles to get Hell's different overlords on his side, like when he goes to visit the Gunslingers, he goes into a western country style, or when he talks to Camilla Carmine, he attempts to sing traditional Hispanic music. Also, that was hilarious, not gonna lie. It's a much more effective switch up than what went down in Hear My Hope, but like that song, Bad With Us feels like it's a little all over the place. With the visuals, I think the music works a lot better. I've just noticed that for me, I listen to the first minute of the song a lot and then skip it. Still, not a bad song by any means, and the vocal performance by Christian Portal, who I will be complimenting more as this list goes on, is so captivating to listen to. Okay, now everything from here on out is like A tier and above for me. This was a really solid season of music. Starting out with by far and away the funniest song this season. Clean It Up. Nifty is one of my favorite characters in the show, even though there's not much to her character that we know of yet. She's so sadistically hilarious and strange, I always know we're in for something awesome if she's in a scene. This anime pop rock style of music was absolutely perfect for her first song in the series. You can tell that in the behind the scenes making of video, voice actress Kimiko Glenn is having the time of her life. She's able to strike the perfect balance of wholesome innocence with a healthy dose of psychotic mania. I don't know how else to describe it, but hey, that's Nifty for you. There's also a whole segment where she starts singing in Japanese, and while it seems like she's unintentionally sabotaging Charlie's goals even further, if you actually look up the translation, she's talking about how awesome Charlie is and how she believes in her dream. I audibly laughed at multiple parts during this song. My only complaint is that without Charlie's segment at the end, the song is only a minute long. It is way too short. I hope one day we can have an extended edition to this song because it deserves it. I talked about Hazbin Guarantee more in my Hazbin Hotel versus Disney video, so I won't go too much into it. This was a really great reintroduction into the series, but the part of the song that really makes it stand out is when it transitions into a song reintroducing the villains for the season, the V's. Each section flows perfectly into each other to keep things interesting. The vocals are amazingly harmonious across the board. The animation is spectacular. What can I say? It's a really great, awesome way to get us back into this world. Don't You Forget Reprise is the long-awaited sequel song between rivals Alistair and Vox. After their song last season, Stayed Gone, I had extremely high standards for the next time these two had a duet. While not quite as good as Stayed Gone, Don't You Forget Reprise is still an amazing follow-up for these characters. I love how throughout the course of the song, Vox is trying to convey how little he cares about Alistair's opinion, only for him to get more aggressive in his words and handling of Alistair. It shows how through all the glamour of Vox's ambition, he's still bitter about Alistair's treatment of him. I also love how in comparison to the first Don't You Forget song, Alistair's basically an unwilling participant under Rosie, but here, he's pushed to his wits' end and wanting control, taking over the chorus. What I find interesting in this is how it demonstrates how similar these two are to each other. Both of their goals are wanting to obtain power over everything. While Vox is definitely more blatant and extravagant in his attempts, Alistair is more subtle and willing to play the long game. But when Alistair cuts in a more aggressive manner, it shows how both of them have the capacity to lose their marbles when things don't go their way. It's probably why they have such complex feelings for each other. While Alistair would never admit it, I think the reason their dynamic is so infectious is because they can see themselves in the other. They're both attracted and repulsed by it. A really interesting dynamic highlighted in an excellent song. While super short, Vox Day gets its point across in a very spine-chilling way. Vox and the rest of Hell are pissed off and they're going to commit genocide against their oppressors. No joke. Every time I hear the part where he goes, "'Cause I'm the Führer, I'm immense," I get chills. The visuals, the music, and Vox's voice just freak me out in the best way. His Machiavellian villainy is on full display for the song, and it delivers tenfold. I wish I had more to say about it, but like I said, it's really short and straight to the point. But it is super effective for me. As I've showcased before on this channel, the music made for Heaven I find to be just boring or grossly cheerful, but when it comes to Sarah's confession, it made me reevaluate what I felt whenever we came to this side of the plot. If I was to hear music that sounds like one confessing before God, this is the music I'd hear. This is a beautiful arrangement from both the orchestra and the vocals. During the part where the percussion came in and God's voice soars over Sarah's thoughts, I felt like I was ascending into heaven. Just listen to that. Dude, gorgeous. I also ascended during the part where there's this key change. Listen to this. not just magnificent on the ears. The subject matter that it's being presented is deeply compelling. Sarah's trauma and guilt as she ponders how if souls could be redeemed and earn salvation, how could she have the right to be in heaven if she condoned acts of brutality that would make her be damned? It's a compelling conflict that's only exemplified through, again, a gorgeous song of heavenly proportions. I am so happy we got another show tune inspired song by Keith Davis as Husker. I think it's law at this point they have to give his character a song like this every season because wow, they are great. Keith Davis's voice is incredible and smooth as always. The song is incredibly catchy, but the strongest part for me is the storytelling. Husker's had a hard time this season and goes back to his basic coping mechanisms by drinking and gambling. At first it feels like a comforting and ecstatic tone over giving into his impulses, but towards the end he comes out angry and alone. Not only is this shown in the incredible voice work as he growls and slurs his speech, but the lyrics themselves. During the chorus there's the line, "Don't need love when it comes in a bottle," but as he loses everything over the course of the song by gambling, all he's left with is alcohol. He changes the lines "don't need love" to "can't have love when it comes in a bottle." Even though he desires connection, he'd rather numb the pain away than feel his emotions. It's equally catchy and vibrant, yet heartbreaking and sad. Husker's a great character, and with the way things ended off between him and Angel Dust, I hope he finally gets the help he needs. Not gonna lie, Brighter wasn't a hit for me the first time I saw it. I love the origin story of Vox in the human world and how he ended up with a TV for a head. It was so twisted and dark, yet vibrant and creative. It's such an original character, and I can see why he's quickly become a fan favorite. The music style isn't one I'm able to pin down, but it's also immensely engaging to dissect. There's elements of electropop, choir, show tune, rock, and 80s synthwave. I also love the different levels he reaches throughout his career, starting out as a weatherman but quickly making his way up the ranks of media empires. It showcases how he's always had intense ambitions to be the greatest. Now you might be wondering, why didn't it click for me the first time? Well, it mostly had to do when I just listened to the song. With the visual storytelling, it's an incredible experience. But when I just listened to it as a song, bro was yapping way too much. I get it showing the story about his rise to power, but there are a lot of segments in the song where you're just kind of sitting there waiting for him to stop talking so it'll get back to the chorus. I'm not the only one who feels this way. I found this video in my research where this guy edited the song to the parts where it's just Vox singing, and I gotta say, it works really nicely when you just want to sing along to this music in your car. And yes, I, Michael DeCinebro, belt out Hazbin Hotel music while flying down the freeway. If you saw Brighter and it became one of the top, if not highest rated songs for you this season, that is a completely valid take. This is an incredible insight into Vox as a character, and overall just a badass villain song. Now, we've reached the top 5. In 5th place, we have Once We Get Up There reminded me of the villain songs of old. It's catchy, menacing, and sets up the goals of the villains in a very satisfying way. It's an extremely effective, classic-sounding villain song. The visual storytelling in this is especially on point. Throughout this season, Valentino and Velvet slowly become put off by Vox's ego when it comes to conquering heaven. In this song, it starts out with Vox trying to pitch them the idea of it, all while he increasingly rises above them. He comes back down to tempt them even further with promises for their prospects, eventually leading them to rise up with him. However, if you watch carefully, they are both either on the same level as Vox or beneath him, never above, showing how when push comes to shove, Vox will always strive to be the one on top. Even in the climax, when they're at their highest aspirations, Vox still remains the highest one amongst them. It's such a great visual detail throughout the song. Plus, I think this last shot is without a doubt an homage to Be Prepared from Lion King. So how could it not be in the top 5? One of my favorite villain songs of the series so far. Sometimes there is beauty in simplicity, and no song this season exemplifies this concept better than Losing Streak. I think I saw a comment on the song saying how it was kind of a reverse of Loser Baby. Well, in that song it was Husker telling Angel Dust the truth about his situation and how he's not alone. Now it's Angel telling Husker the truth about his problems. He's trying to reach a high through gambling and drinking, but ultimately it will lead him nowhere. It's a melancholic tone if you listen to the lyrics, but the vocals by Blake Roman are immaculate. You kind of end up like Husker in this state of awe with hints of self-reflection thrown in for good measure. Like I said, Very simple, but effective. I'd also like to retract my statements from last season on the shipping of Husker and Angel. Last season, I just saw them as having a strong bond. This season made me see there's potentially more going on there. I'll admit, I was wrong. We all make mistakes. Let's move on. Holy shit, I didn't even know that was gonna rhyme. What a bar. I'll just end by saying that for a song called Losing Streak, you'll feel like a winner after hearing it. When looking up songs that get the most hype amongst the fandom, I think Don't You Forget is criminally slept on. From the first moment I heard it, I knew it was going to be one of my favorites of the season. One of the highlights for me is the vibes of both the music and the visuals. I love the 1920s aesthetic, so anytime we get around Rosie or Cannibal Town, I know I'm in for a delightful time. I guess that's a good word for the song. It's just delightful. Seeing someone as intimidating as Alistair having to bend his will to Rosie, who treats him like a pet, is just hilarious to watch. It's only carried out with a charmingly catchy show tune and infectious harmonies. Ever since season 1, Rosie has quickly become one of my favorite side characters. She acts so kind and genuine, but there's always this sense of something hiding under the surface. Like if you messed with her, she would torture you in the most unfathomable ways. Even in this song, under all the politeness and chivalry, she's essentially reminding Alistair he's her bitch. Don't You Forget is funny, charming, catchy, and gives us the spotlight to some of the most interesting characters in the show. When I saw this song get posted online before the season came out, I made the decision to stay far away from it. I wanted to go in completely blind without any expectations, despite the fact people were saying it was amazing. When I finally saw it in episode 2, I finally get the hype. It may be a pretty basic take to put Gravity as one's favorite song, but to be honest, it's a basic take for a reason. It's that damn good. Somehow they took this random ass side character from last season and with one song instantly made them one of the most interesting characters with a haunting motivation for revenge. To make it even better, they put it in the best genre known to man. Divorced dad rock? Hell yeah, dude. Visually, while nothing super complex, the message is extremely effective. The room she's in reflects her mental state as she sings about wanting vengeance. While she ultimately ends in a state of wanting to exact revenge, she ends up destroying everything around her. Potential foreshadowing for her character's arc? Possibly. On top of that, the vocals by voice actress Jessica Vosk are amazing. It's dark, threatening, heart-wrenching. She jam-packs so much emotion into this song. I can easily see why this is quickly becoming considered the best of the series so far. However, if it's so good, why is it ranked in second place? Well, it's because of what they do with Lute's character this season, which is somewhere between jack shit and fuck all. Seriously, how could you make such an incredible song for a character with so much promise, only to resolve her conflict in the span of 10 seconds of the final episode? The biggest blue balls this series has committed thus far. I think the reason it pisses me off so much is because, like I said, Lute was just kind of a random side character, but this song shot her up into a character to look forward to. A lot of the song relies on how they utilize her character for the season, and they do nothing. I'm at least happy they didn't kill her off, and it looks like they're using her for future seasons, but why would you give us this incredible song here? Why not save it for next season? Ah well, it really sucks what eventually became of her storyline this season, but hopefully it won't be in vain. If they fully deliver on her character's motivations going forward, this song will go down as one of, if not the best in the show for me. However, as of right now, there can be only one song in the top spot. The best song of Hazbin Hotel Season 2 goes to Vox Poppy. The song pretty much exemplifies everything I could want from a musical number. Great music, interesting progression, creative visuals, and the exploration into a character's personalities and motivations. First off, the opening. It starts out with an incredible rock number by Lucifer, and just like season 1, he proves to have one of the best voices in the show. The visuals of the fire serpent and bright red highlights instantly got me hooked. I was ready to call this 53-second song the best this season, but then the song does something incredible. It changes into something completely different under Vox. He goes into a show tune style, completely ignoring Lucifer's words and threats. He's able to rally the people to his side and expose Lucifer for the somewhat con man he is. Takes one to know one, I suppose. But Vox's section highlights once again the effortless, charismatic voice of Christian Borle. He's saying a lot of words, but with the way the music and melody is constructed, you are completely on board for the ride, and don't get overwhelmed. It also goes to show how Vox can so easily manipulate everyone around him through sheer charisma. I notice how, like in Once We Get Up There, the way his manipulation works is by pitching an idea, promising those who listen their greatest desires, and finally ending with those he's convinced to sing his song, finally being able to sit back and have those he manipulated carry out his deeds. It's such amazing storytelling on top of being musically satisfying to listen to. While I love multiple parts of this song for different reasons, the one I love to replay the most is this.
Manifest destiny, long as you invest in me, the rest will all fit into place.
It's so out of nowhere in the song, but it's so quirky. I don't know, I just love that little segment. While it took me a long time to come up with the list for this video, none was harder than finding what could be in the #1 spot. However, I think I'm confident in saying Vox Populi is the best song of Hazbin Hotel Season 2. Well, that's my list. Make sure to comment below your rankings of this season's music. Am I right? Am I insane for my takes? Make sure to let me know. Oh, and by the way, have a Merry Christmas, Cinebros. I'll see you all next year.